Hey folks, this is Sam. Today I'm going to be talking about context within Claude Code. So let's dive into it. The first thing you want to make sure is that you're on Opus 4.8, and you can click on this little ball here to verify that you're on a 1 million context. Before they used to differentiate it, but now if you pay for a proper plan, it seems like Opus 4.8 automatically means you're on 1 million context. So what is context? Why do we need it? Why do we run out of it? When we look back a little bit historically, the AI models, when they would run out of context, they would get really dumb and really start hallucinating a lot. So we see it here with GPT, with Gemini, and so forth. It starts really smart, everything's good, and then as you add more and more data, it starts getting confused, it starts hallucinating, the quality of the response lowers. Now we can see already on Opus 4.6 that lowering of quality was a lot less worse, right? So we went from 90 to 78, let's say a drop of 12% over the entire conversation. Not that bad. In terms of how do we apply this thought, what I want you to be aware of is this little circle here. And thankfully they added this, so it's a lot more visual. However, one command we can do inside of Claude Code is /context. And this is going to give us a really deep breakdown of whatever is using our context. And some of that may be the connectors that we have. Like here, for example, this conversation, I don't need HubSpot or Hostinger. So if I close this, I'm going to be saving some context. And when I click here, I can get a breakdown of where my context came from. Is it that I'm loading a bunch of useless skills? Is it that it's all the messages I've been giving? Maybe I gave it a bunch of PDFs with a lot of information. Is it my tools? What is using all of this context in here? And I can get a fairly big breakdown. But there's kind of two ways to reset the context. There's the way it's going to happen on itself, which is not desirable, but better than nothing. And there's you controlling the context, which is exactly what we want to do. So if I keep talking until I run out of context, it's going to automatically compact at a certain point. And when I say compact, I mean it's going to write a big message of everything that we just talked about in our entire conversation, and is going to try to basically, before it dies, is going to write down everything and give it to the next agent that's going to wake up with fresh compact, 0% context, and inherit that conversation. So that's not really desirable, because that's a worst case scenario. What you actually want to do when you're nearing, close to 90% context, is type save to memory. And it can be part of another message, right? You can be saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but now I want you to save to memory. Claude knows what that means, to save to memory. So that means instead of writing like a turbo will, right? It's going to take its time and not just throw this up in the conversation, but actually write in the Claude MD, write in your local memory. Everything that needs to be written down is going to write a proper will for the next agent to fall into and to read. So instead of doing something on the go, it's just going to take its time, write it locally in the files, and so forth. So that's a lot better. And then once it's done, that save to memory, we'll be able to compact a lot more safely. And this means that our conversation will retain all of the granularity that we gave it previously. So it's not going to lose track of what we talked about. Okay, so now it told us that it wrote to memory. We're just going to do our /compact and press enter. And there we go. What happens is it's going to flush everything in here. And I like to kind of see it as, there's an agent that writes their will and they die. And then the next agent comes in with a fresh cup of coffee right out of university. And he sits down on the desk and he goes, oh my God, everything is so clear. Look, there's a notes over here. There's all the data I need over there. Oh, they did all this research and it's nicely written down. I don't have to, it's not like somebody rushed out of here and then I moved in. Somebody took the time to write the instructions I needed, and now it's just nicely laid out in front of me, and I can have my nice little cup of coffee and get to work. So This simple technique of watching your context, understanding your context, writing to memory when it's time, and then compacting manually is really going to help you bring your AI game to the next level. And it's a weird thing, right? Nobody works like that when we're doing Excel or Word or PowerPoints. It's a new methodology of working with AI, and the skills of working with AI are about these types of changes. So, I'll give it a second and we'll see where it stands once it's compacted. All right, so it tells us it's compacted. Now we're ready to go. And our agents got their fresh cup of Joe and it's ready to get working. I hope this was useful for you. Have a great day. Cheers.